welcome. We're so glad you're here. And we hope that this will be a productive and meaningful session for you. So just a little bit about us. Again, if this is your first time to hear about us, to attend an Own Academy experience, Own Academy is an educational events company providing real-world experiences that enrich academic learning. So we create these real-world experiences with companies and professionals, and these experiences are designed to future-proof students and equip them to solve problems in a rapidly changing world. A little bit of background on these real-world discovery sessions as well. So real-world discovery is just one of the several products that Own Academy offers. So real-world discovery is our online career exploration series featuring experts from modern industries. These live sessions allow students to interact with experienced professionals like our guest speaker today. They also allow students to gain insights to help them decide what career to pursue in the future and learn what it takes to thrive in the real world. Okay, let me jump right into introducing today's speaker. So we're very happy to welcome Mr. George Asibal. He is the Chief Executive Officer at ZFT, which is a finance community with an energetic fan base across the Philippines, Singapore, and Dubai. To date, ZFT has empowered countless visionaries to be their own bosses by sharing the life-changing wisdom of trading. Okay, without further ado, I hope everyone can help me welcome today's speaker. Welcome, George.
Hi guys. Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. So we just to manage everyone's expectations, we will have three parts for this session. So the first part will be all about George's personal career journey. So he'll be telling us a little bit about how he started out in his career. And then for the second part, we'll dive right into so for today's topic, we actually have cryptocurrency. So George will be telling us a little bit more about that for those who have no background on cryptocurrency like me. So I'm also very excited to learn about cryptocurrency. And then the last part will be discussing industry specific career advice. So George will be giving you advice on how to, like, if you're interested in a career in cryptocurrency, George can provide insights on that. So let's dive into our first part, which is getting to know George's personal career journey. So George, can you tell us how you got started in your career?
Hi guys. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So when I started out, I took up hotel and restaurant management. I'm not a finance guy. I don't think like I was equipped to be in this or I was properly trained to be in this industry. I just started out because I failed in math, in a major math subject, and so that forced me to switch careers or switch careers. Originally, I intended to be a IT specialist, but there was just too much math for me there, which I couldn't really handle. And so I said, okay, you know what? Like, I just want to have a something that could make me happy. And I saw people who were enrolling into this course, and I was like, oh wow, these people, they seems to be so happy, and let's just go for it. That was the only thing that I was thinking at that time. And so when I started, I was just doing odd jobs. And of course, as you near graduation, right, you don't want to be a burden to your family. You want to make sure that people are proud of what you've accomplished. And so I was like thinking, okay, what can I do in order for me not to be a burden to everyone? And so I started doing odd jobs. I was a bartender. I was a call center agent. I did small businesses that helped me get through. And finally, I landed into the stock market, which was introduced by me, by my brother. And it started there. Yeah.
Okay, maybe let's backtrack a little bit, George. So before, all of the career stuff, what were you like growing up, like as a student? Can you describe what you were like as a student?
Right. So as a student, I really was just curious about a lot of things that was around me. I think you could say I really like gadgets and new technology. I wanted to test things out. Like, I don't want to invent things. I just want to test the new inventions that would be coming out. So it was something like that. Like, I really like sci-fi. I would watch anime. Those were the things that I grew up with. Spy movies and all that stuff. So, yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, I mean, cryptocurrency is a relatively new industry. And so
No,
growing up, like you, oh, no, it's not.
no. Like,
Did
I
you
just
know
really accidentally stumbled into crypto and also
okay.
stocks. Like, the
Okay.
only reason that I got into it was because there was money, and like, you didn't want to be a burden, right? To
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a burden to my family, and so I was just looking for ways to make money, and that was it.
Okay. But did you always know that this was sort of the industry that you wanted to go into when you were younger? Or because, maybe cryptocurrency wasn't as known back then yet?
Uh-huh.
So, like, yeah, like,
Definitely not.
right? Yeah.
Definitely not. This was just something that, like, it was just far from my mind. I told you I was like, I'm bad at numbers. And so whenever I see charts, whenever I see numbers, I would just like shut down mentally. But later on, because I'm really good with games though. Like, I'm good with games, computer games and stuff like that, puzzles, action, RPG, all the kind of games I play except sports. um, and so I understood games. I didn't understand a lot of math, but I was able to look at things in a perspective of, hey, you know what? Like, if there's a pattern how to win in games, there should be a pattern how to win in this industry. And so that was my mindset going into this.
I can super relate because I'm also really bad at math. So maybe there's hope for me. Maybe there's a career shift in my future also. Um, so what was it like when you were starting out in your career? Like you mentioned that it was your brother who sort of got you into thinking about this industry. Like what exactly were those conversations like? Like how did that sort of pique your interest? And then when you were starting out, how were things back then?
Right. So my brother was telling me about this new opportunity so that you can make money. Like, if you would invest here and then just he was like showing me charts, right? And I had no idea what these were. I just knew that, okay, if you just draw this point A to point B, that's an uptrend. If point C to D and then it looks like this, then that's a downtrend. So it's kind of like, okay, here are the patterns that will make you money. Here are the patterns that won't make you money or make you lose money. And so, knowing my brother, he would just give me all these ideas and I would test them out. Like, okay, I don't really have anything better to do, so why not just try this out, right? And I think what really caught my attention was he was showing me this example. Like, okay, if you know what, if you invested a few years back in this stock and then you held it up to now, this is how much you would be earning. And that got me thinking, hey, you know what? Like, if I would be able to get something like this and make money, I don't have to work as hard because there's something on the side that's growing, and then I can just sell it, make money. That's good. I can go about with my games and do things that I like.
One last question before I hand it over to you for your presentation part.
Right.
Curious about, so you mentioned like all these odd jobs that you had
Mhm.
before you entered a career in cryptocurrency. Can you tell us a little bit more about those odd jobs? Because in Own Academy we're all about like showing people's career journeys, how that's not all
Mhm.
you know linear from point A to point B. So maybe
Right.
tell us
Right.
a little bit more about those odd jobs that you had.
Okay. So obviously I had my industry, which was hospitality and restaurant management. So anything that would like, because I would always look at it in a like, I would imagine it like a game, right? I'm not sure if you were able to play that Restaurant City, but there was a game before that was really popular. Just have you would have the time to that. Anyways, I don't want to go too much and geek out about that game, but that was it. Like I would just go into these jobs because I was given the opportunity to do so, because that was my field. And going into it, there were times I really enjoyed it, especially when I would be able to experiment on the things that I would like. But what I didn't like was that it was just too stiff. Like, oh, it has to be like this. You can't experiment because it has to be consistent. But I found out like I am not wired that way. I would always make something that should be better. It's never, I wouldn't say never, but most of the time it's always inconsistent. I would like to try something else, something different, something that's if it's food that I'm dealing with or a drink, it has to be different the next time. It should be better, or it has, yeah, something different. And I guess like people didn't like too much of my experiments. And some people would say, especially when I was in Singapore working, Fairmont, Singapore, I'm not sure, like, but anyway, I was assigned there for 6 months, for a good 6 months. And I remembered that we would be setting up these ballrooms. When you have events, company events, or let's say a graduation or a wedding, and we'd set up those events. We would be serving. We would just go from setting up the whole place to serving until after the guests leave, we would just clean that up, and then it would start all over again the next day. Different event, different people. And it was exciting because you get to experience, oh, this is, these are the details that people don't really see behind the scenes, which was pretty exciting. But what I didn't like was that there was just too much bureaucracy, and sometimes there were people who just use their authority and power trip. I didn't like that. I wanted to control my environment. Like, how would I say this? I always wanted to pursue excellence. If I see something that, hey, you know what, like we can do things better, let's do this. And I didn't like when people weren't open to improvements. Like they were just too stiff in their minds on how to do things. And so there were other things like with the call center, I experienced all those things. I just really wanted to discover how people would start, because when you're young, you just want to explore. You want to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you like. It's really just a process of self-discovery and seeing what fits you best. Because there isn't really one way for you to say, hey, you know what, like I succeeded here or I succeeded there. Like you have to define that for yourself. Like, what is success, right? Don't let other people pressure you to define that for you. And so to me, I mean, this is me looking like back, right? But those times doing all these things, I would say, just go for it and experience all these things. Yeah. Do it for
Yeah.
the experience.
So much wisdom and insight so early on in the session. I'm glad to hear that, even with all these seemingly unrelated experiences that you had,
Mhm.
they all were able to teach you something that you're using now. So, like,
Yeah.
you were able to take risks, you were able to experiment, you were able to figure out what you like and what you don't like in a work environment. And I believe everything is like sort of serving you well now.
Mhm.
Okay, so enough about I guess your background. Let's move on to your presentation. So I think everyone here is excited to learn a little bit more about cryptocurrency today. So I'll hand that over to you, George.
Right. So here's a caveat. So this is actually part of a course that I handle. It's just one part. It's not the whole thing. It's part of my masterclass. People pay me around 300,000 peso, for this kind of training. And so I'm giving you like a sample how it's done. But it's not the whole thing. It's just a part. Okay. You might think, oh, is that the whole thing? Right? No, it's not. So just letting you know. Wait,
It's
I'm just gonna share my
it's a sneak
slides.
peek for everyone.
Right. So I'm trying. I was thinking about like how to make this presentation a little bit more interactive and easier to understand, because probably like me before, when I started out, I had no idea what I was looking at, and so I'll try to like run you down through the very basics. I tried to really simplify it And so let me know, like, if you have any questions in the middle, that's fine. I can try and answer those. But can you like type in the chat, like if you are there and are excited, like if you can see my screen, give a thumbs up. Or is that, can you actually do a thumbs up here in this Google Meet? There you go. Yeah, you can. Oh, okay. So so this is the masterclass. This is me. I'm just gonna skip through that. We're gonna be talking about moving averages. So I hope this doesn't bore you. I'll try to make it as interactive and as fun as possible. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, I'm not gonna talk about investing. I'm just gonna talk about trading. Well, there is a little bit of investing in it, but the reason why a lot of people lose money in trading investment is because they don't understand trends. It's so simple, yet people dismiss it as, you know, it, if it's that simple, you know, why does it work? Like sometimes we have this mindset that if you want to make more, you have to work hard for it. People don't realize that in this industry or in any industry, yes, you want to work hard, but you also want to work smart. So one of the leading causes why people lose money is they go against the trend. And in this presentation, I'm going to teach you how to identify these trends. So in our system, we kind of like measure the trend with using one line. And we call this the moving average, and it's the 100 moving average. This means for the, let's say, for example, you have 100 days and the prices move and like up and down. So within that 100 days, you get the average value of that, and then you get the value of the 100 moving average. This is the long-term kind of like sentiment of people. Now, that might kind of like might flow over your heads, but I'm going to give you a visual on how that looks like, you know, a visual, how it looks like basically. So this is how it is. That's the 100 MA. That's the blue line. You see there's two lines there. That's one is the blue, other one is the black. Can anyone guess what the black is? Can you guess? What do you think the black represents? The blue is the moving average, the moving average, yeah. The black is the price. So the black line, that is how prices look like. And then the blue, that's your moving average. Now, how you would like to simplify this is that when you see the 100 moving average below the prices, which means prices are above, and then the blue line is below, that is a indicator for you that, you know, things are bullish, meaning most likely prices are going to go up. So if you're going to be investing, make sure that this is the pattern that you follow. All right. And then you stay invested while that blue line is still below the prices. And if you see that the blue line goes outside or above prices, then that's the time that you want to be exiting your positions. Now, if you see that the blue line is, you know, still outside, and usually it takes time, you stay out, don't invest, just stay cash. So basically that's the principle. If moving average is below prices, your asset is bullish. If your moving average is above prices, the asset is bearish. So can you give me a thumbs up if that was too much, if you understood that, or if it's too much, like just type too much in the chat box. Okay, there's one, Marla. Okay, everybody was like, all right, hopefully you got that. Later I'm gonna show you like a real good sample, like an actual sample, how it works, so you don't kind of like miss out on things. All right, so this is important because you would know the seasons, when to get in and when to get out or stay out. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, you know what, like that stock is bullish, Tesla, Bitcoin, I don't want to buy it because why? Because it's down. But if you follow this simple formula, you could make a lot of money. And so yeah, I think that's actually the whole presentation. I don't want to overload you with information. Um, there are other like topics to this, but I want to show you guys a more actual, sample. So let's go to. Let me just present to you guys a different screen of mine. Tab. Okay, here we go. So this is Bitcoin. This is the actual chart of Bitcoin. Can you guys give a thumbs up if you see my screen? All right, great. So there's a lot of charts, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna close this one or collapse. Now I want you to remember our how would I say this? Our example earlier or our principles. That 100 MA, which means that blue line, if it's below prices, what do? Is it a buy or a sell? Can you chat in the message? In the chat box. Would you guys, are you able to chat or no? They are able to chat, right? Okay. Can you like, yeah, there you go. Okay, so here's question number 1. Your 100 moving average is above prices. As you can see here in the chart right now, prices are below, moving average is above. Is this a buy or a sell? Okay, Yushi says buy. Paulo says sell. Okay, so just imagine if, let's say, for example, you have invested, you have $1,000, all right? And then we're going to be investing it at the current market prices. Is this a buy or a sell? Come on, guys. There's like how many of us here? There's 16. There's 15 of us here. Is this a buy or a sell? Can you guys type? All right. Some people are saying buy. Some people are saying sell. All right. So if you see this kind of pattern, the 100 MA is above, prices are below. This means this is a bearish scenario because the 100 is above prices. You want to make sure that 100 moving average is below the prices. Then we invest, or then that's the time that we buy. So we're gonna look at how this one would progress. All right. So you see that the prices are going up, and our moving average, our 100 MA, is now below the prices. But you can see here it went outside after a few weeks. So when that happens, prices are going to go down again. So you want to wait for this kind of like movement before you would be able to start buying again. But there's a rule that we have. I didn't really discuss this as from the presentation, but let me just give you kind of like a sample here. You want to look at these high points. For example, from in this time frame, you want to see, just imagine like these are mountains, right? And this is like the top of the mountain. If prices go above this level, and then your 100 MA or the moving average is below prices, that's a buy. But if only the 100 MA is below, but there is no, the prices don't go beyond the high points of this kind of like mountain, then that is not a good buy signal. So in this case, this is the new mountain, right? This was the previous one. This is the new one. Now, what we want to happen is two things. We want to have okay, I'm just going to put here parameters buy. I hope this doesn't bore you guys. This is really important. You can make a lot of money here. Parameters to buy, break from previous high mountain. Let's just say it like that. And then 100 MA is below prices. So this is our parameters when we start buying. All right. So we'll wait for these parameters to hit before we buy. Now we see that this movement over here, there's like this one. This is one mountain over here. That's a high point. And then here's another mountain over here. Like you see it move kind of like a wave, or yeah. Now we're gonna be wanting to have these prices break out, and then also that 100 MA below prices. So when we see that the prices are in these levels, that's the time that we buy. So here you can see, okay, 100 MA is still above levels. So unfortunately, yeah, it's still going down. All right, and then you see that, wow, that's a really huge price fluctuation. Mountains are just going, like, it's just creating new lows, and then here you have another mountain over here, this one, and then here's another one. So there are like two levels, two mountain highs that we need to break, and then we need to find that 100 MA going below prices. Hopefully I'm not sounding too geeky for you guys, but we are just going to be waiting for that, for these levels to break, like prices are going to go above, and then that 100 MA will go below prices. So we're just gonna wait. Okay, now we're seeing here that the 100 MA is below prices, but we want to wait for that breakout. We call it a breakout when these levels are when prices go beyond these levels, and then that 100 MA below. So here we see that, oh, okay, it's 100 MA is finally going below prices, but we still are waiting for this mountains to be taken out. So think of it as like there's a war, right? Like these are, what do you call those? High towers, or like a garrison, a fort. So this is kind of like that. It's like a garrison. It's a fort. If these levels get taken out, then the army can advance. So yeah, something like that. So you see here. Okay, here's an example. We have our 100 MA. These are our 100 MA is below prices, and then this is the time that the garrison, or actually the mountain highs, are already taken out. So this is a buy signal. This is the time that you buy. And so once you buy at these levels, let's say even if you buy at the top, okay, we're just gonna wait until that 100 MA is broken. So when that 100 MA goes above prices, that's the time that we're gonna be selling. So you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready? You want to see what happens next? Okay, so that's like 4,000, right? 4,000, 5,000 levels. Let's say you have $1,000, and then you bought at this level, pretty high, $5,000. Now, we don't know, like at this time, what was BTC doing. People weren't really paying attention to crypto. People were saying, you know what, it's the end of the world. Nothing can be coming out good from this investment. But you know what? You don't really have to listen to all those news, because some of those are just really manufactured. Social media, or even like mass media, they're just there to really manipulate you. And okay, I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist here, but like we're just gonna keep on holding until our positions flip. So here I'm gonna write, what is our parameters to sell? So our parameters to sell is 100 MA is above prices, and then we see that there is a break from previous support. So I'm going to be introducing to you another concept, which is supports and resistance. So you remember that I was talking to you guys about these, right? These were like the mountain highs. So we'll talk about mountain lows as well. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Let's just use that for example, for discussion's sake. All right, it's not really the actual, way how to say it, but let's talk about mountain lows. Mountain lows, or support levels, are kind of like, what are the low points when prices fluctuate, right? Like you see here, prices are going here, but they don't really necessarily go lower than that. They kind of like form a base over here. So yeah, let's just call them bases, right? So if we see that a base is forming over here, then that is a support level or support base. If you see here, we had a high point over here, and then it went down. didn't really go lower, so this is our new base. Okay, so that's basically the concept. If it doesn't go below or like the extreme low after it goes high, think of it as, if you know Atari, the game wherein there's a ball and then it just bounces off the sides up and down. This is kind of like the base where it bounced off, and then that's the support. This is the what you call a resistance. And so here you see here that prices went up here, right? There are two levels that you want to be looking at, this one and then this one. So these are mountain highs, those are resistance points. And then after it went to these resistance levels, right, it went below. So this is your new support. Okay, and then here, after it went another and made another high, it went below and made this support level. So basically, that's how you look at support and resistance. It's just like the extreme levels. You just identify those, and then you would be able to see where is the support, where is the resistance. And so right now, what we're looking for is a breakdown, or when prices go below the support line or the previous support. So this is our parameters to sell. Okay, so we're just gonna continue. I'm gonna assume that we put in $1,000 over here, and then we're just gonna hold our positions until that 100 MA just goes above prices. So we're just gonna continue. We're just gonna look at that 100 MA first, okay, and then wait for prices to go near that level and break. Until that happens, we're just gonna hold. So we're just gonna hold. I'm gonna take this parameter to sell. So you see here, we have our 100 MA above prices already, right? So this is kind of like a sell or like a warning shot that, hey, you know what? Most likely prices could go down, but as long as support levels are holding, then that's fine. So we're waiting for a break from previous support, which is kind of like this. So you see that there's a movement over here. These are your mountain highs. This one, and then this one. And then you see that after it reached those levels, they made support, like our bases over here. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, the more that these bases are being touched, the more that you can see, okay, this is a solid support line where we can like put our levels. So if prices go below this level, that's the time that we're going to be selling our positions. Or yeah. Okay, so now we see that, okay, this level over here, prices broke down. Our 100 MA is actually, what do you call that? Above prices. Then that's the time we sell our positions. So that is actually a 42, wait. It's baliktad. Wait, I just did it in reverse. So here, and then put it here. We actually made 74.85% profits. So if you have $1,000, you would have 740 more. So that's it. That's our first entry. So that's how you do trading. Really basic. When you see that 100 MA is above prices, and then you see that there's a breakdown from that base, then that's the time you sell. Now, you want to see what happens next? You want to continue? All right. Okay, let's go. So the thing is, we go back to the parameters when we're going to be buying. So remember, this is very similar. We're just repeating this process over and over again. We're just waiting for the 100 MA to go below prices, and we want to make sure that there's a break from a previous mountain high. So where are the mountain highs in this chart? Okay, so this is the highest level of them all. What's the next? This one? Actually, this one over here. And then we have another one here. And then another 2 over here. So that's 1, 2. Okay. Now, one thing that you have to understand is the more that these levels kind of like touch these areas, the more that that is a key level. That think of it as you're going to war, and these are key levels wherein if the enemy takes over or if it breaks out that level and you gain control, then there's going to be a switch of trend. So I want you to remember that. All right. So now we see here, oh, there's another mountain high over here. You see that level? That's kind of like the extreme where prices reacted. And then now you see that 100 MA is actually nearing the prices. We're waiting for prices to go above that 100 MA. If it doesn't, then we're just not gonna put our money there. It doesn't make sense, right? Like we're just understanding that, hey, you know what? The trend is gonna go down because that 100 MA is above prices. We're just gonna be patient and wait for that 100 MA to go below first and then break a mountain high. So here we see that, oh, wow, okay, there's already that sign of life. But we still have to have a clear break from this level, from these two levels, if you want. We're not going to put any money until these two levels get broken. All right? So that's the concept. Now you see, oh, wow, look at that. Prices are nearing these levels, but it hasn't broken yet. All right? So you see, there's kind of like a third touch over here. I mean, 1, 2. So it's kind of like, oh, this territory is actually strong. So just wait for that to break before getting in. See? Now, if we got into this level and we were impatient, this would have happened to you. Nasty, right? nasty movement. That's a really like a nasty way to lose money. So you see here from here to here, you would have lost 50% of your money. So if you put in $1,000, now that's only 50. Too bad, right? So we know that this is kind of like a tough cookie to break. And if that breaks, then good for us. So we understand, okay, where are the new levels? Where are the new territories? What are the resistances that we need to take? Okay, so when it broke down over here, we saw that, oh, there's like a little level over here that we can like add money to if ever, prices recover at this level. So we're just going to wait for that to break. And we're going to wait for that 100 MA to go below prices. Wait, do I still have time? Do I still have time? I might be geeking out too much here. Like I'm enjoying here. I don't know about you guys.
I think everyone is also.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. So you're gonna be like, okay, you see 100 MA is below prices, right? So that's one indicator. Hey, you know what? One parameter is already fulfilled. We're just gonna have to wait for another sign before before we get in. We want to make sure that this level is like broken. All right. So it's kind of like when you feel the market, it's really just kind of like talking to the market, right? Like you just want to talk to the market, like, hey, market, like, hey, are you sure do you feel me? Yeah. And if these parameters are met, then that's a time like, hey, you know what? Like, no cap, this is already trending. Get in. All right. So this is actually a really clear breakout over here. We can buy our positions, but not all, because we understand that there are 2 more levels over here. Like you don't want to get trapped. And because we want to make sure that there's like a clear break from these levels before we actually put in more money. And so if you're unsure, because like this is this is actually good news, but this is kind of okay, market, are you gonna give me money here, or like are you just gonna trap me here? So if you want, just put in a little bit of money and then add if these 2 levels are broken. So that's how we do it. So we see that our 100 MA is already below prices. Already one good sign. The next sign is if this breaks these levels. So you see that there's kind of like a like, what do you call this? That there's a strong force gathering here, making sure that prices don't go above this level, which is good, because if prices go above that level, if it breaks, that means, hey, you know what? Like attack, attack sign is there. Like this is like all systems go. This is already a bull market. Everything's gonna go up. So you see here, you see that bar over there. Prices are already breaking out. It's giving you that sign. Hey, you know what? Like, this is a warm up, but we need to make sure that it breaks this last level over here before we actually buy like a big chunk of our money. So if, for example, you want to buy $500 for now, that's fine. Do another 500 when this one breaks. So that's how we do it. All right. If prices go below this level, and then you see that there's a base over here, right? This is kind of like if prices go below this level, then we sell our money, we sell our positions, we sell our Bitcoin because unfortunately, it's not yet ready. So let's see what happens here. Very tight range, very tight. How many of you here think that there is going to be a breakout and it's going to go up? How many people here think it's going to go up? Type up. Those people who think it's going to go down, just type down. Let's see. Let's have a census. Okay, so how says down. Okay, Leslie says down. Marla, how about you? What do you think? Down. All right. So now there's a really good way to think about it like this. I want you to imagine we already have a very tight range. So I'm gonna add another concept over here. We call this range. So usually when there's like a standstill, right? Like for example, for how many years there's a war going on here in this price, people have accepted that this is the price to be. You see here that 8,000 level, that's where, like for example, allied forces, and then here in the 10,300, that's kind of like the enemy forces. Now, if any of these breaks, if any of these level breaks, if this level breaks, prices go and break from this level, that means, unfortunately, the enemy has won and prices are gonna just continue going down. So that's kind of like the trend. But if this level breaks, the enemy forces gets beaten over here, what happens is that most likely prices are gonna start going up because it's been a standstill for so long and finally a breakout happens. So kind of like that's the concept that's happening here. You see our 100 MA, it's still below prices, which is a good sign. Now, what you're just waiting is that catalyst to give us if it's gonna go up or if it's gonna go down. Oh, see what happened here? There's a break, right? Are you guys excited for what's gonna happen next? So that candle is just 1 day. Per candle, that per green, per red, that's 1 day. Now we've seen, okay, enemy forces have been defeated. Most likely we're gonna go up. All right? Wanna see how it goes? Okay, let's go. Let's see. Okay, we've already bought $1,000, let's say, at this breakout. This is the parameters to buy. All our parameters are green. So all systems go. We're just gonna wait for our sell parameter to happen. Okay, just gonna go here. So you see those previous lines over here, these previous lines, those are previous mountaintops, right? So those are kind of like enemy territory that this trend is trying to defeat. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of like trying to be like storytelling over here, but that's how I see charts. Like, I told you guys I'm a gamer, so this is how I see charts. So it doesn't look so boring. Okay, so here we have prices. Oh, this level over here, that's a major garrison. Unfortunately, after hitting that level, probably allied forces suffered some kind of injury to their troops. So you see that this happens, but our 100 MA is still below prices, still bullish, and we want to make sure that we have like, okay, if ever we want to exit position, we want to have like selling at a previous support. If this breaks, then we sell our positions. If not, we're just gonna continue and hold. So now let's see what happens. All right. If this breaks, then we sell everything. If not, we're just gonna continue holding. Right? Okay, so we're gonna take these out, or we can just adjust our support level over here. You see that there's a base being formed. Now we're gonna wait for that next breakout. Let's see. Okay, now there's another attempt. It broke out and it's attempting, or it's challenging the next level. Okay, let's progress. Okay, that's another break. This is another level. So you see, guys, that this is like one of the highest territories ever for the enemy. So when that breaks, prices are just gonna go wild. All right, so here we have a breakout, oh, expect like a really strong uptrend, which is happening right now. So you guys see what's happening? Wow, right? Now we'll see how much money we're making at the current prices from the time that we bought. So if you have $1,000 invested here, you would have an additional $1,700 from that $1,000 alone. Now, these were the previous resistances, so those three lines, right? These are the three very strong, like, forts after that levels were broken. Look at that run up. Amazing, right? Now, we're just going to remember our parameters to sell. When do we sell? Because you can't just keep on holding. You can't be that person like, hey, you know what? I got lots of Bitcoin, but you weren't able to sell. Don't be that person. You want to be the person who kind of like buys at the right time and then sells when everybody's just too greedy about things. That's how you want to do it. Okay. And then let's see what happens next. Boom. Another breakout. And then here you go. We're just seeing support over here. And then our 100 MA is just still below prices. Okay, now I want to fast forward and see where it goes. 100 MA, we're just going to wait until that goes above the prices and then we sell. Sorry, guys, I just got too carried away. Okay, now we see here that our 100 MA is above prices. And then there is like this support area. You see here? It's broken here. It was broken here. So most likely we weren't able to sell here. We're not geniuses, right? We can just say, after the fact, if these parameters are broken, that's the time that we sell, which is 100 MA is above prices. And then there's a clear support that was broken over here. So we can use this as support. We can also use this as support, or probably this one. This is a more practical way, a practical support level that was broken. So here, we probably would have sold here using this system. So if you have $1,000, you would have $3,400 more when we exited here. Guys, that's the system. That's it. Just sit. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to report to any boss. The boss here is you and your decision making. So be sharp. Now, that's it. That's basically how you do it.
Okay. Oh, that was so like I think everyone was just like hanging on to the edge of their seats. Like that was so fascinating. And thank you so much for explaining it so well, George. I think if you don't have previous experience or knowledge on cryptocurrency, like it tends to get a bit intimidating, but I think the way that you sort of gamified it, that really helped everyone understand it a little bit better. Okay. So again, thank you. We have, I think, 8 minutes. So we'll use this time
Yes.
to ask you more questions and,
Right.
and
Okay.
to wrap up.
Sure.
If anyone in the audience has any questions for George, you can type it in the chat. Or if you are brave enough, you can unmute and turn on your camera and you can ask your question directly. While we're waiting for the audience to ask questions, I do have some last questions myself also.
Sure.
So if we're talking about, for the students here, for the young people who are maybe thinking about pursuing a career in cryptocurrency, what advice would you have for them, George?
Wow. All right. So in cryptocurrency, there's a lot of things. What I just showed you was trading and trend following. It's just really a tiny fraction of what you can do in crypto. There's a lot of opportunities, especially if you're into technology, and if you're into a lot of other industries are now adopting cryptocurrency. And so if you want to have NFTs, or you want to pursue AI, or graphics and all that stuff, everything, almost everything you can find integrated into crypto. And so again, what I'm teaching you guys is one of the things that I would say I have experience for over a decade already. But the other things I'm still learning. I just keep learning. There's just so much to learn. I don't think like your whole life would be able to learn all of these stuff that is out there. You just have to really pick what you enjoy doing, and from there just focus. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from Kaz. So
Mhm.
Kaz says, would you recommend the book Cryptocurrency Investing for Dummies?
Right. So for Kaz, I haven't really read books that much when it comes to cryptocurrency investing. You can try going for it. Like I would definitely recommend it. We do have our book as well when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I could like share to you the link how you can order that. There's a local bookstore that does this, but I'm not sure if they can like ship abroad. Let's see if that would help. But how we kind of like discuss cryptocurrency is similar to how I'm discussing over here. Like I'm that type of person that doesn't want to get too much overloaded. Like I want things simple. That's how my brain works really simply. If you explain it to me in a very technical way, I might just shut down. So yeah, I can recommend to you our book if you're kind of like me. But if you want the technical stuff, there's a lot of information on the internet. Feel free.
Okay, we have two more questions in the chat box. So Yannick says, does this strategy also work for regular stock?
Yes, Yannick, this works definitely for stocks because before cryptocurrency, I was in the stock market for, yeah. So this works for stocks. Just remember, it's the 100 MA, 100 moving average.
Okay, perfect. From Dave, so I just wanted to ask, how do you get started in the business? Like, I guess, how do, like, for a young person, like, how exactly do they start?
Right. So yeah, just open an account. You don't have like normally when you're starting out, right? Like, oh, what are the requirements to do that? You just need to open an account and have money deposited there. If you have a Binance account, like they have a mock trading, so you can use play money. I can send you referral links for both Binance and also TradingView. This one that I'm using, Marla, maybe you can distribute the links so that they can sign up there, and then you can use these tools and brokers for you to be able to start. So I don't really recommend that you put a lot of money when you're starting, but guys, like losing money, it's part of the process, it's part of learning. What's important is that you learn from these mistakes, and from there, use it as leverage, everything that you've learned, and then use it to your advantage on the next trade. That's how you get better and better. Like, don't be afraid to fail. When you fail, be very intentional, learn from every mistake that you make so that you can improve on the next trade. Even if it's not trading, even if it's something else, even if it's in a different career, industry, or what, just remember that principle. Don't fear failure. If people laugh at you because you failed, laugh back because you're going to be better the next time.
Speaking of, we have a few more minutes. Speaking of, I guess, failing and making mistakes, I'm curious to know also, George, like, was
Hmm.
there a mistake that you made, while trading
Oh,
that
wow.
really stood out for you? And what did you
Yes. Well, I would say I'm a king of failure. The reason why I'm here is because I failed a lot and learned from those mistakes. It doesn't mean that I don't make any mistakes anymore. Like I still make mistakes even now. But what's important is that you manage those mistakes. Or when you make a mistake, how can you make it so that it isn't as painful as before? So those are the things that you need to do. Like, man, I could just go on and on how many millions I've lost, but also how many millions I made when I did the right decisions. So when you do, or in life in general, like I want you to understand that it's trial and error. Learn from other people's mistakes as well. That also helps you avoid these mistakes and not do it yourself. But you know what? Sometimes, even if we know that it's going to be a mistake, we still want to do it because, like I just want to do it and see for myself. Well, that's just how we are wired.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game, so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and you just learn from it every time. Last two questions are from
Okay.
How and Dave. So How is asking where we'll be able to access the full course. I think we should be able to send the participants the relevant links later on. From
Right.
Dave also, how do we get access on the chart you presented?
Right. So I'm gonna give you the links later. Like Marla probably, or maybe now, probably later instead. I'm gonna send it to Marla, and then from there you can like distribute the links. You can just sign up. It's free. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna send you anything like crazy.
Yeah. Okay. We will distribute those links to everyone via email. Just a quick
Right.
reminder also to please help us improve the next sessions by helping us fill out this feedback form. It's super
Mhm.
short. It will only take like 2 minutes of your time. And if you're interested in attending our next sessions, please stay tuned because we will have a lot more lined up. And we'll make sure to keep everyone posted on what else is happening.
Mhm.
Any last words from you, George, before we officially wrap up?
Right. You know what, guys? Like sometimes things are tough, especially in life. Life is never easy, and I want you to remember that. Um, just always keep an attitude of being grateful, and don't let anyone tell you what is success. You have to find and figure that out for yourself, because life is just gonna be messy. It's always like that. You're just gonna get stronger and better. So um, keep growing, keep failing, and see you guys if in the future we meet.
Sounds like that's such a perfect way to wrap up our session. So we're all about, defining success on your own terms and just doing things the way that, it feels right for you. Thank you so much, George. That was extremely insightful, as How said. We are all very enlightened. You made it sound so exciting. Thank you also to all our participants. So thank you to the students who attended, to our school representatives who attended as well. We will be keeping in touch for our future sessions. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.